Hello and welcome to the third video in the Shanta's Boutique e-commerce site series. In this video we're going to go ahead and set up our database so that we can start storing information in the database and we can make our site dynamically load menu options and products rather than having that static on the page. So in order to do this, I'm in Terminal here in Linux. If you're on Windows you can use your graphic user interface, but we need to start up our instance of XAMPP. So do lamp for my password, and you can see, alright, so Apache MySQL started. So now our server's running. So in order to get to our database, these guys were nice enough to include an open source GUI for managing our database. It's called PHPMYADMIN. It's really awesome. It makes things a lot easier. So to get there, we're going to do localhost /PHPMyAdmin. And here I have this database set up already. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it before we get going. Sorry about that. I should have checked that. All right. All right. So here in the database, I'm going to create a new database. So right here at the top, it says database. I'm going to call this one tutorial. You call it whatever you want. And for correlation, we're going to set this to UTF-8 and Unicode case insensitive. I'm going to hit create. So now we don't have any tables in this database, but we have a database created. So we're going to go ahead and create a table. The first table, let's go ahead and start with 9 columns. And we're going to call this products. And the first field we're going to put in our columns is ID, and we're going to leave that at int. And we're going to put this as a primary index, primary key, and we want to auto increment this. 99% of the times when you're making tables in your database, the first field will be this. It'll be a primary key with an auto increment. The next thing I want to do is put a title in here, so that we give a title to our products, and I'm going to put that at varchar, or variable characters. I'm going to set the max length to that to 255 characters. The next thing we're going to add here is our price. That's going to be a decimal, and I'll do 10,2 for a value on that. And then we'll do list underscore price. We'll also set that to the same thing. It's going to be money, so we want to have 2 decimal places. Alright, so we have our price. The next thing that we want to do is put in brand. And actually our brand here, we're going to leave that as an int. We're going to have a brand category table. I'm sorry, we're going to have a brand table, and we're going to actually plug in the ID of the brand here. So we need to leave that as an int. That's fine there. Category, we're going to call it categories. Put this in multiple categories, and we're going to leave this, put this at a varchar, and we'll set that at 255, I guess. That's fine. The next thing we're going to do is we need to store our image URL. We're just, in this project, we're only going to allow for 1 image for each product. In the real world, that's probably not a good idea. You'd want to have multiple images to upload it for each product, but just to keep things simple, we're going to do 1. So for image, we're going to put that as a varchar 255. We're not actually storing the image in the database, rather we're going to store a path to the image in the database. Alright, next thing we need is a description. And the description, we're going to put that as a text so that people can enter a long text description for it. And let's see. We could do tags and things like that, but I think we're going to keep this rather simple. The main purpose of this tutorial series, and you can do this on your own, but we're just going to keep things as simple so that we can learn some PHP. We're going to integrate with Stripe.com for to process our credit cards. But anyhow, we'll just hit save here now, and that table's set up. We can look at the structure of it if we'd like, and you can see here. The next tables are a lot easier. They're really short, so that we're going to create a brand table, and this one's super easy. We're just going to give it an ID with primary key and auto increment, and then brand, and we're going to set this to varchar 255, and that's all we're going to need in that table. So hit save. Do one more. We're going to call this one categories. This one's also easy. We need an ID, give that a primary key and an auto increment. We're going to do category name. I'm just going to call it category singular 255 varchar on that. And we need also to do a parent. Now, parent is so that we can nest these categories. That's going to help us in our menu. So we'll leave this in it as an int. Yeah, we'll leave this as an int. We'll set a default as defined and put that as 0. And the reason we're going to do that is because by default, I just want these to be the top level category. And then if we want this to be nested, we're only going to go one deep in this. We could do infinite nesting, but I don't really think that that's necessary for this project. Maybe we'll change that later, but I don't think so. I think that's good. That's all we need for categories. So brand, categories, products. Later we'll add a table for transactions and our customer information. And we'll just do that when we integrate with Stripe, so we don't need to set that up now. But for now, this is going to get us going. So I will see you guys in the next video, and we're going to organize our code a little bit. So have a great day, and see you in the next video.